computer. Alice Johnson is connecting.
Yeah, they can hear you.
Okay, I see Carol Taylor.
Good morning.
Good morning, Alice. How are you?
Good morning.
Can you hear me, Alice?
Can you hear me?
I can hear Marion. We're having trouble with audio.
No, we can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Alice, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Carol Taylor, good morning. I haven't met you. We're glad
Jay,
to...
can you come in for a minute? It says my speaker is not working.
Okay, now I hear you, Alice.
My speaker is not working.
Oh, Kimberly, good morning. Good to see you. Can you hear me at all, Alice? No, she can't hear us. Carol Taylor, can you hear us? Put a hands up. Elizabeth will be running a little bit late today. Kimberly is on. So we have our board on.
I'm good. Good morning.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you clearly. How are you?
I'm very good. Elizabeth will be running just a little bit late.
Okay.
And Kimberly is on. We have a new guest with us today, Carol Taylor.
Good morning.
Her. I think it's going to be a small group, but we are an important little group. Yeah, I'm having my cup of coffee too, which I very rarely have.
Great.
And you see, it says Mrs. Always Right. Do you see that, Alice? I don't think so.
This was a gift. It says the New York Yankees. And no, I'm not a New York Yankee fan, but hey, I love the cup. Special cup.
Marion is on with us, of course, this morning for a little while, and then he's going to be leaving us.
All
We've
right.
got one more minute.
All right.
La Rosa. Good
Hi.
morning. Okay, everybody. I'll introduce her later, but you've met her before. She is our new editor and our publisher.
Well, welcome, La Rosa.
Well, thank you. Welcome. How are you all doing this morning?
Doing fine, doing fine. And good morning, Marion.
Hey, good morning.
How are you?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Doing well. Just left the gym.
Oh, nice.
Back at
Can you
it.
imagine? Kimberly, good morning. How are you, darling?
I can't complain.
Who
Good
is
morning.
that cute little baby we're seeing?
Oh, that's Lucy. She's my trouble.
Oh, she's precious. All right, good morning. It's 11 o'clock this morning, and this is August the 17th. And this is the Georgia Poetry Society coming to you this morning with our third quarterly meeting. We have our board on hand this morning, and we're going to be bringing you up to date with our past business, our new business, and our plans. Before we get started, Marion Owens, who is our tech gentleman, we couldn't get along without him. He's going to be on for a short time this morning, so we're going to do things a little bit different this morning. We're going to start with Marion giving his report because, as some of you know, we want an easier way to communicate with each other, and we haven't figured it out. But Marion's going to bring you up to date on what we're doing. Marion, the floor is all yours this morning, sir.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going? So my name's Marion. I'm like the tech lead on GPS. So one of the challenges that we have in the past is communicating, reaching out, coordinating and corralling all of our members essentially in an easier platform. So this past summer, we did kind of do a quick inventory and audit of the tools that we had in our toolbox to help us give reports about how many members are active, how many members are paid, how many members are prospects, how many members are thinking about joining, and things like that. In all honesty, there's not an easy way to do that right now with a single system. We can eventually get to that answer from that question, but it takes a few trial and error tries. And then if you change that question or change the method of the type of question that you want, it's a whole nother process of starting from scratch again. So I was looking around for additional platforms to help us with managing our members, managing the membership fees, managing reaching out to prospects, or even reaching out to maybe private events that are members only, and came up with a few. I'll be presenting that to the board to kind of, you know, pick of the litter of which one you like. I'll definitely be giving like my personal favorites as well as features of what I think this does best, that does best, and so forth and so forth. What I wanted to do also was to kind of donate a year's worth of licensing for these membership management tools, so we can at least get started with the new platform, and then going forward, it'll just be, you know, rolling much easier with managing members. So for example, if you know, Carol wanted to reach out to somebody named Barbara, how can she find her phone number? How can she find her email? Right now, it's pretty tedious to do that. You have to kind of know the system decently. The new systems that I've been looking at, it's relatively self-explanatory. You essentially just search for their name, or you search for part of their name. It'll pop up with like a profile. You'll be able to see any contact information that they expose. And then we also have the ability to add additional fields for your profile. Like if you wanted to talk about your favorite book or your favorite poem or your favorite author or your favorite scenes or your favorite genre, you know, it doesn't matter. We can expand above and beyond a traditional profile. And then we can kind of foster, like, maybe there's open mic that's only for alliterations from here on out, that they love alliterations, right? So now you can easily find people that are great with alliterations. So anyways, that's the plan coming forward. I will be discussing and planning with our membership chair to see if there's any features that she's looking for, to see if there's anything that she's trying to avoid, and come up with a proposal. So hopefully by this week, I'll be able to kind of present something to the board.
Thank you.
Any questions about that? I've got one more update as well.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Sorry, Alice, you might have had a question.
Oh, no.
Okay. Then the other thing I wanted to talk about really quick before I got to jump off, we have been working pretty hard with the national convention that just happened in June to finish up and wrap up a lot of the multimedia that we have from the convention. So we've got a lot of images, we've got a lot of video coverage. I think I've got almost 2.5 hours of video to edit and convert and make sure it looks pretty clean, and put up on our social media accounts, for example, and the website to kind of help promote it. We do also have some members who have already been to the convention on the national level that may not necessarily be part of GPS, but you might see it out there, that have already posted some of their own private pictures or videos out there. So we wanted to brand it a little bit more special to basically celebrate our members. So what we're going to be doing is, you'll see soon a larger, here's the entire run of what we found from the convention. Here's our video. And then I'm going to work on wrapping this up where I think we have enough to do it every week or every other week, highlighting one of the speakers and releasing it to say, here you are. Here's your poem that you spoke at the convention. Thank you so much for participating. and highlight that inside of GPS. So we'll see that coming out soon.
Thank you, Marion. And he mentioned something too, that this is the year of celebrating our members. And so this is just a lot of what we're going to be doing. Well, we're going to start. I'm the president, Barbara Barry-Nashanian. I live in Macon, Georgia. Alice, say hello. Alice Johnson is from Augusta, Georgia. She is our secretary. Wave to them, Alice.
Good morning.
Kimberly, get your dog to wag his tail. And you are up from the Atlanta area outside of Smyrna. Where is it exactly?
It's Woodstock. It's in the North Metro area.
Woodstock. Okay. And Elizabeth John will be on with us in a few moments. And for the first time at one of our meetings, we have our new editor and our publisher, La Rosa Thomas. La Rosa, you told me we're Florence, South Carolina. I think she has just recently moved to, and so she will be helping us. We have a guest who is with us today. Carol Taylor, can you tell us a little bit about yourself this morning?
Yes, I live in Hiawassee, Georgia.
Ah,
A beautiful area.
I'm a poet, writer, also books, and a couple of plays, one-act plays. I'm a retired teacher. Over 30 years, over 40 years total, but most of it was in Muskogee County. We lived in near Columbus, but we retired up here in 2016.
and your
Oh.
name again, please?
Carol Taylor.
Thank you.
I've had some poems published in The Reach of Song, and I have a new poetry book out now. So,
Do you have
Wonderful.
it with you that you could hold it up for just a moment?
yes. It's called Facing Toward the East, and it sort of brings forth the idea about how many of our older cemeteries, especially, always bury the dead facing toward the east. So this is the book, Poems of Redemption, and it's about different people, and some are fictional, some are real, some are just based on people that I've known over the years or things I've read, and each one of them is in one way or another facing toward the east.
That's interesting. Are you a member of our society? I assume you are, since you've been in the Reach of Song.
Yes.
Very good. You do know that we have a book room. Are you familiar with that?
I was looking at that. Yes.
Yes, we do. We need a manager for it, but talking about what we need, we have positions open. One is the vice president, the book room. We used to have contests. We need a contest chair. So we are just open. We need someone with education. We have several teachers that are with us. And so we're just still looking for new members. So we hope you'll step up and get active with us. Now, we did something new this year, Carol, that we've never done before. We had a Reach of Song journal to bring everybody up to date. Lucinda, the past president, informed Alice Johnson, as she did myself, that she will remain a member of the Georgia Poetry Society, but running her business, as we business women who have known, is now her top priority. And GPS appreciates all the time and effort she gave working with the National Convention, as we were the co-host of that convention. And Hani has resigned as editor in June, also for a more important priority. And we're hoping for her success in these endeavors. And I believe she too will be remaining a member, and I hope both will continue to register for our open mic. Okay. My computer is printed in two different color inks, and it's kind of hard to read my own notes. I may have to have one of y'all read my own notes. Well, let's see. Turning to the business. Okay, now we've got that. In early spring of 2025, Georgia Poetry Society 2024 anthology. We're still planning for its work in early spring. Where needed, as previously mentioned. This is something new we're doing, Carol, because we have not had any contest. As you're familiar, having been in our anthologies, the contest winners make up the first portion of the book, and then the latter portion is made up of poems by our members. Well, this is the year during my term when we are celebrating you, our members, all of our members. We want you to have more opportunity for us to get your name and your poems out into the public. And so because we're going to be having more submissions, we need 4 volunteers to work on our editorial committee. And this will include myself, and La Rosa will be the person who will select one person to represent the group when communicating with her, so she doesn't have 4 or 5 different people speaking to her at the same time. Now the ROS Rachel Song Anthology submission. All paid in full members will submit 3 poems. Now note, you're submitting 3. 1 is guaranteed to be published. Then if we need more poems, we will go back to everyone's second entries and third entries and select something from them. Now, because we appreciate our board members so much, I can't tell you how much, they can submit 3 poems, and all 3 of their poems will be included. Now, in new business, we have a new member. I said some of you have met her. She's La Rosa. Georgia has her transfer home, but she's recently moved out of state, as she said, to Florence, South Carolina. She is our new volunteer editor and contract publisher for the ROS Journal and for our 2024 anthology. La Rosa, say hello to somebody, everybody.
It's nice to meet you all.
Okay. Now, I'm hoping that we can have a contest in 2025, but keep your eyes open for teachers who would like to do contests. And I'm hoping we will have more contests in 2025. Now, we started something the 3rd Thursday, August the 15th. We had open mic readers who had committed last month, hey, let's try to learn a new poetry style. And so we participated in alliteration. And when you sign up for the open mic, you can do any short poem that you want to. If you want to join us in a new poetry form, then you'll have to do your homework. And the girls did a wonderful job with their homework. We had some tongue-tied twisters with all the alliteration. It really was a lot of fun and an interesting evening. One thing I want to say to you too is when you come on open mic, know that we do not want you to read any poems that you intend to submit to a contest. A lot of people don't understand, and it really depends on who is putting on the contest, but some contests will consider poems published, not written, but published, if they have been on any kind of social media platform. And I am going to start having that added to our announcements, so there'll be no mistake on that. And I've asked Marion to repost this warning on all of them. In 2025, I'm hoping that we could build our open mics up to twice a month. I am open for all kinds of ideas, and I really hope that maybe we can start having Zoom in person and on Zoom. I would like to point out achievement of our secretary, Alice Johnson. She is now Dr. Alice Johnson. Alice, why don't you tell everybody about your wonderful achievements? You're muted. You with us?
I'm with you. Good morning again, everyone, and thank you very much for acknowledging. I received my doctoral degree honorary from Global International Alliance on June 22nd, 2024 at Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia.
Let's give her a little congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Whose show you're fixing to be on?
Next week, the 21st, I have been selected as a guest to present on the Parade of Quartets, which is an ABC affiliate. And with that, I am really excited. They have asked me to, they're doing a series on poetry here in Augusta. And I submitted my information and they were thrilled to have me. I am a published author. The name of my book is A Dove in the Golden Light, which is on all social media platforms and can be purchased Amazon, Barnes & Noble.com. 5 stars currently right now on Amazon. But I've been asked to speak and I will be doing some readings from my published books.
And can you hold your book up too, please, Alice, for just a
Most
moment?
definitely. Purple Royalty. It's called A Dove in the Golden Light. And really excited about this adventure next week. Because we just never know where this affiliate may take A Dove in the Golden Light. Also, I will be advertising the Georgia Poetry Society and seeking membership from the audience and other individuals who may hear about this particular show, production.
Thank you. I've missed over something. Welcome, Kit. We're glad to see you here. Kit was on our open mic last night and she brings so much knowledge to us. We had a lot of fun learning new things last night with her. I'm really not doing so great this morning with all of my crazy notes I can't read. I mentioned that we had alliteration last night. We are going to be giving the new poetry outlines that we're going to be having. And pontoon, Kit, you tell me if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And everyone who got their notes, I gave the formula of the formula recipe, the outlines for how to write a pontoon poem. And so those who want to do their homework for September, that's the form that we will be using.
Barbara,
Yes, Kit.
I thought that we're doing what Elizabeth had suggested, the ABC Darien.
Yep.
Oh, you are so right. ABC Darien.
Barbara, I'm on. I made it a little bit late, but I'm here.
Well, here's Miss Elizabeth right now. Elizabeth,
Yes.
I'd like to give a warning first that the type of poem that Elizabeth suggested, it is addictive.
Oh, it's great. They're fun.
It's
They're
wonderful.
definitely-
Good morning, Elizabeth.
Hey there. I'm sorry I'm late.
No worries.
I had to
And
get to the
Elizabeth.
gym this morning and getting back, I got stuck in traffic. So
well, you and Alice are setting good examples for us, putting your health where it should be. You were explaining to us last night, Elizabeth, the difference between an ABC Darien and an acrostic. I think the ones that are on today and on YouTube would like to hear your explanation of the difference between those two.
the ABC Darien poem is a very specific, I guess kind of acrostic if you wanted to go that route, but every line starts with a letter of the alphabet. So it's not a word per se when you read it down, it's the letters of the alphabet. And, I have one online And I was thinking maybe I could share my screen, but I don't see the,
Sure.
yeah, I don't see the, hold on a second. I can show it to you all if you'd like, so you can see what I'm talking about. That might make it easier.
This
If
is
you,
our
but I
morning.
just need a minute. So if you all want to keep talking about something, let me see if I can find my site. And then when I get it up, I can show it to you.
Okay.
That sounds good to you, Barbara.
Mm.
Yes, and Elizabeth is our membership chair. And what I want you to know is when you bring in 2 new members, you will get 6 months extended to your membership. And so we really want to go out, and here's something I would really like to encourage. Because we do want to get open mics, public readings, I don't drive anymore. I'm suggesting when you're looking for members, let's start looking in our own hometown areas. I do not know the poets that are in Macon, Georgia. I only knew one. And since COVID, I don't know what's happened. And here's why. You know about our buddy system. Carol, we instituted during my reign that I want every board member to find somebody to be their buddy, to help you with anything that you're doing in your board position. And so that way you will also be training the person when you move up to step into perhaps your shoes, and they'll be familiar with the role. Second reason that I want us to look for members in our area is, wouldn't it be great if I could get 6 new members in Macon? And then Elizabeth may say, hey, I want to hold an open mic up here where I live. And then I could say, hey, guys in Macon, I'll buy the gas and pay for it if you'll let me drive, and let's all go up and support Elizabeth's open mic. So that's why I'm saying let's start working in our own backyards so we can build a community in our own towns. I'm ready for you, Elizabeth.
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready. Okay, so I think I'm ready. Hold on. Y'all see my screen? Can everybody see the screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a poem I wrote a couple months ago, I guess, over the summer, and it was based on a prompt, and we had to write this poem called "Playing with we had to title the poem "Playing with Letters." That's what they wanted from us, and it had to be an ABCdarian. So this is a poem that I wrote, but if you look on the left-hand side, if you go all the way down, it's the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, all the way down to Z. Okay, and that's the ABCdarian. That's the thing. So an acrostic, when you look at the left-hand side, there's a word there, whatever that word is. If the word was wonderful, you'd have the word wonderful on the left-hand side, and each line of the poem would start with that letter. So the first line would start with W, the next one would start with O, the next one would start with N, et cetera, et cetera. The difference here is that this one has to start with the letter of the alphabet. And because I like for my poems to tell stories, you know, mine flows like a story, and the lines are kind of erratic in length because I'm getting to that letter that I need for the alphabet. But some people will do stuff like, an apple is great. Butternut squash is healthy. Carrots are good for your eyes. It's whatever you want to do, but I just like to write mine in a story form. So if you want, I can read this as well.
Yes.
All right. And this poem was a complete goof. I just was just fooling around. So it's not really one of my serious poems. And then this site I used, you know, was entered in for a contest. So I was trying to win. All right. So it says, Playing with Letters. A poem that I want to write, but it's getting late. Can I get this right? A verse, a stanza defies my thoughts. I'm looking for easy, but at what cost? Do I sacrifice form for the easy win? Or do I go for humor and get the big grin? I wonder and ponder, I think and I muse. I just can't seem to know what to do. Let me think, let me see, let me mull over a rhyme. Yet nothing comes swiftly to mind. If only my mind would commit, perhaps I could quickly find words that would fit. But only rebellion is steeped in my thoughts, so strange and unusual, it may well be for naught. So I'll vanquish this quest for words and for verse, but I'll Xerox these notes for better or worse. And one day you'll see I'll get it together if I'm not too gung-ho or overly zealous. There you go.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Okay.
Very,
And I'm going to tell you that when you do these, X and Z are super hard letters to come up with. So just, or words to come up with, but that's the ABCDarian.
very good. Thank you, Kit, for reminding me of that. Listen,
I'm going to take my share off. Okay. So,
okay.
all right, there
Okay.
you go.
Do you have anything to report on membership, or I want you to tell the people about, show the cover of your book if you have it close by,
Yeah.
and tell them about the awards that you won on that book, Elizabeth, please.
All right. So this is my book. It's called 5 Dreams, and I've won 4 awards for this book so far now. I think 2 awards were for finalists, and 3 awards were for finalists, I believe, and 1 was for winner. The winner was for the Book Fest Awards. That was in April. But it's all like all my poems tend to be narrative poetry. I like to tell stories in my poems. And so it just depends on my mood. I like to use prompts. I said that a little while ago. I love using prompts because it kind of helps me diversify what I'm writing about. Of course, I love to write about Black history and Black issues, but I also like to write about love, unrequited love, and whatever floats my boat, whatever I'm in the mood in. I'm just trying to write and practice style and form and just be creative. And then, so that's my book. It's 5 Dreams. It's available on Amazon, on Barnes and Nobles, most platforms now. Apple Books, if you use Apple Books or what have you, it's available pretty wide. And then I have another book coming out, hopefully in the middle of next month, or no later than October the 1st, called The Bones in the Garden. So,
Mm,
and the same company that helped me put this book together also put that one together. So it should be looking pretty good. So I'm excited about that. As far as our membership stuff goes, I've been talking to Marion. Marion and I spoke at length. Well, I think it was last week. And we were talking about, we were kind of expanding on an idea that Marion had talked, that Barbara had mentioned, that we'd mentioned about changing platforms to facilitate getting members, to facilitate encouraging members. And to help facilitate Barbara's ideas for membership and, you know, doing the 2-for-1 and all that other thing. So I think he's still researching a few, but he's narrowing it down. He says he has it narrowed down to maybe 1 or 2, and he's going to make a proposal and share it with everybody. So that's where we are. Okay. And then I also talked to him. You mentioned earlier about about us hosting open mics in our area. So I actually just have a question, because I'm talking to Marion, and you know, he was telling me that they had some last year. And so I was trying to figure out, well, how does that work? What are the logistics like? And he was saying, so I just happened to toss, like, if I wanted to go to a bookstore, could I have a bookstore, an open mic gathering at a bookstore? He was like, sure. He would be able to, I believe, he would be able to help us stream it as well. And so that got me thinking after I got off the phone with Marion. I just haven't had a chance because we're in school and it's the beginning of the school year and we're busy. But I did think about, I said, well, there's a couple of bookstores that hosted me for book signings and for book readings. And I was like, I wonder if they would be open to hosting it, you know, in partnership with Georgia Poetry Society. So I just have to find time to ask. I just have to get an email out. But there's a couple of bookstores local. There's one that I was thinking about. Their bookstore is really lovely. It's a really nice little bookstore. It's in Conyers. But we would have to pay for the space. They have like an event space there. The space is $125. But so this is all in my head. I didn't send out any emails or anything, but I don't know, can we afford that? Is that something that we could do? Can we host it in a bookstore or no? I mean, it's fine if we can't. I had another idea also, but I thought, oh, but these are in varying locations as well. So I'm thinking of this bookstore in Conyers. So they have the event space. It's $125. Then I was like, maybe I can go check our library as well and see.
yes, that's what I would do, Elizabeth. Like, I'm hoping that in Macon, Georgia, we have the Cherry Blossom Festival in March.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been a member of the Middle Georgia Art Association since the 1970s. And I was hoping that maybe we could do an open mic in Macon in March so that y'all would have a lot to see
Mhm.
who would come down here. What I'm hoping is that we can get bookstores that'll appreciate us wanting to advertise them
Right.
using their facilities, and they won't charge us. So
Okay.
I would go, let's work this as together
Mhm.
instead of having to pay them.
Right.
If we did some great big thing, oh yes, I think we should, but for just our readings, I think I would go to get those libraries. What about even your school holding it? No, you have an auditorium or someplace.
Yeah, but
So
it's part of Clayton County Public School System. I don't know how easy that's
any,
gonna.
anybody got any ideas they want to share with her of
But
other?
yeah, yes, I'm in Augusta and we have a regional park. It's called Diamond Lakes Library. And I hosted my very own book signing, and it was free. It was totally free. And the library publicized to get individuals to come out and hear about my book and the signing, etc.
Mhm.
So it was really nice. And I know that if I contact the librarian and the staff again, they would be happy to produce that here in Augusta. So
Okay.
yeah, so I mean, I'm just
Because I
saying, I
think yeah.
think it'd be an excellent idea for us to travel. If I could do it here in Augusta and you all come and support me and we have our books lined up, and I do the same for each of you throughout the state. So, I mean, it takes some coordination with dates, etc., but I think it would be a wonderful idea. I love that idea that you have,
Right, well, that's
Elizabeth.
what I was talking about earlier, or some of you may have missed it, that
Mm.
a membership drive, uh, Kit, I don't know if
Oh,
you heard that.
I'm sorry, Barbara, not to cut you off, but and Alice mentioned this as well. But that's the other idea. When we have these open mics, we also use it as a vehicle to get members to sign up. Yeah,
Mhm.
Right,
it's not exclusive. It's not one or the other. We have the thing, and we encourage people to sign up to join as well.
and, because I hold open mic, it would be a disadvantage to everyone else if I said, oh, I've signed up so-and-so who got on open mic. No, the people that get on open mic themselves will sign up themselves, and I will not get credit for them just because they signed up to open mic. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
To those that just came on too, when you bring in two members, you get a half a year extended to your membership. And you get a lot of different programs. There are workshops that Marion's putting on together. I mentioned that we're going to be printing the Reach of Song Journal. I think most of the people that are on today, Kit, I think you have your poems in the Reach of Song. And Kit, you didn't meet La Rosa, tell me who you are, darling. La Rosa is our new editor, and she is getting an ebook to work from for Marion, and she's going to be involved in proceeding with a print version. And she's going to keep us informed and up to date. And as she can get a pricing on this, then Marion's going to go ahead and start doing some early promotion, looking forward to the ROS Journal coming out. It was kind of sad to me and a little disappointing when we were at Nationals in Roswell. We gave them the opportunity to download during the convention only a free ebook. And I don't know if they were so busy like I was. Kit, I didn't get to spend a lot of time with you because I was so busy trying to get to the next workshop or whatever we were intending, that I didn't get to know you better and didn't get to do a lot of things. And that may be why people didn't have time to download it. But it is an ebook and it is up now, and La Rosa will be bringing that into the printed form. And I can't wait to order my copy, and I hope that you too will support the Georgia Poetry Society in like manner by purchasing your printed copy. Are there any questions on the contest? Okay. Kit, we went over the part about poems submitted for contest should not be read on open mic. You missed that, but we covered that.
Oh, I've been there. I heard that. Thank you.
Okay. And members, listen up. Alice and I want to do something. We want to start tooting your horn, right, Alice? We've been tooting yours, and we tooted Elizabeth's, and oh, I'm going to toot mine. I forgot. We got to the convention early Thursday morning. We left here at 5 o'clock so that I would be there in time to enter what is called You Be the Judge at the national conference. And we put our poems in a basket and went into this room, and two ladies read the poems that were in the basket, and there was a judging by the people that attended that meeting. And I tied for second place.
Ah.
I'm tickled about that. So it was worth getting up at 5 o'clock for. Let's see. So what she and I want to do is we will have our letters, you know, that we used to have all the time. But we really want to know what's going on with our members. We want to get your information out there. We want to promote the society, but we want to promote you. And what I was talking about is that I want us to be more than a society. I want us to be a community. La Rosa, you and I discussed this just a little bit the other day. And to me, a community is a group of people that can get to know each other a little more personally. I look forward to getting to know you, Carol. The ones on open mic, I think we've got a special little group. We used to have some men on. Carol, I don't know if we scared them away or what happened. We hope they'll come back, and we've really gotten to know each other. The way I want us to know each other is not just drop in hello, good to see you, goodbye, but we know a little bit about each other. And I'm learning so much, especially I wish you could have been at our Thursday night open mic. It was fantastic. Kit, can you pronounce the two words that y'all made me aware of that I didn't know, that had to do with, what's the word that means when you do like a whoosh sound? Do you know what I'm talking about, Carol?
Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia, yeah.
Onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
You know, we had a new girl on the other night, and she didn't know very much. And I said, don't feel bad. That's why I like being with this group of people. I think I'm the less knowledgeable of some of them and wonder why in the world I am president when I don't have as much literary knowledge as I should have about poetry. And I don't know if, I don't think you're a pantser, Carol. I have an idea that you don't write by the seat of your pants. You're like the other girls that are on, you're knowledgeable. And so we look at the input that we give to each other. But Alice and I want to toot each other's horn, and yours too. And I've talked about the anthology submissions already. Alice, you may have to read some of my notes. They are so messed up that I can't see what my computer really messed me up. Yeah, I wrote here that I want a community where we are promoting and supporting each other in every way we can. And I said, please come out and meet with us. Let us get to know each other, what you've written, what you're about to publish, and why we can help. And as some of you know, going to convention was the first time I was out of my house in 5 years. And being with you at these meetings, and I really, the ones that come to open mic, I feel like I'm a new person when I'm out with you because it's getting out. And that's why I want us to be a community, and don't deprive us of your poetry and your fellowship. I'm saying, come on home, come on back to GPS, start getting on our meetings, and let's start having more fun. we're gonna have an open mic after this. Alice, can you look over my notes? Elizabeth, have I missed anything that I admit it went by so quickly this morning?
I think we covered everything.
Yes. Most importantly, we needed to discuss the membership and also the privacy within your taping whenever you're bringing a poem on. Be aware that that is a stance with publishing. Those are two of the highest regards that we needed to talk about. And the community as well as the buddy system, being able to have someone that you can reach back to and talk about your particular poem or any partake like membership. Elizabeth will have someone to help her along the membership drive, trying to help so that it's not overwhelming. And I will have someone working with me with secretarial duties and marketing with Barbara, any other activities that, I can help her with in terms of publishing and making sure that GPS stays on the forefront as a community organization.
Right, and two, I have not tooted my horn. The people in Macon do not know that I was even the vice president. They don't know that I was a speaker at the national convention. We need to do that. If you have your own platform, start promoting yourself, promoting what we're doing. La Rosa's gonna bring me up to date by talking to me and telling me ways I should do that. The only thing that I've been listening to some webinars, I guess is what you call them. And of course, they are not usually geared toward poetry, they're toward writers. And so the advice they give writers is, hey, get on your platform and read a little about a chapter. Start whetting their appetite so that when your book comes out, you've been giving them little tidbits to make them want to know you. Well, here comes the catch. We can't put out poems that we want to put in a contest because they will not be acceptable by some contests, not all. But I think I need to go and get some of my old poems, and I advise you to also, and start promoting your poetry. What Mary and I are talking about also, and this is what I wrote that in my notes. I don't quite know how to do what I want to do. If we had a stack of poems, then I could announce that September the 1st through the 8th, Elizabeth and poet so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, maybe 4 different poets. I could say your poems will be posted on our website the first week. The second week could be Kit and Carol and some others. I would like to get our members' poetry out every week on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. I need ideas on, and then of course, who's going to take care of all these poems so that we can pull them and post them. But would you poets like to have your work featured monthly? If we don't have enough people participating, we could keep doing a round robin of us, but I think it would be nice that people could see poems from our books or old poems and look forward to seeing them. We've got to get them interested in what we're doing and give them something for their time. Give me some ideas on how we could form a platform for holding these poems. Something to think about. I know I don't expect you to come up with an answer right now. I belong to another group and they have all my poems for the last couple of years. So quite often I'll get an email and saying, Barbara, your poem such and such, and they selected it, will be featured the week of so and so. And that's what I thought, oh, I wish, we could do that. And Mary and I, instead of on our website, and we've got to work on our website. Kit, I think you brought it to my attention that it's not performing the way we would like for it to perform, and I need to check that more often.
Barbara,
Yes,
after GPS, there was a problem with it that when you would click or type in georgiapoetrysociety.org, it would tell you that that this was to be careful, that this website may have been taken over by somebody else and someone else may be impersonating Georgia Poetry Society, but
Oh.
that whatever caused that issue seems to have been resolved.
Right.
good. I haven't, as I said, I haven't been checking it out, but I have been talking to Marion to see it. And there are those little squares that Marion puts up, like this is August, and this is like have a happy day, or there's cute little things. Well, I don't want cute little things. I want your poetry up there. That's what we're trying to do. So I'm throwing out my wanna-dos. I wanna do. Will you help me get these wanna-dos figured out how to do them? Because we've got that platform out there. You've got 3 platforms that we can use. And we've got to use it for the society, but we've got to use it to promote each other. Give me your feedback. Come on, girls, give me feedback. La Rosa, Carol, come on. You're laughing, Carol, and smiling. I know this must sound good to you. Let me hear your thoughts. You're
Tell her
muted.
she's muted. Yeah.
You're muted.
Yeah, thank you. Rather than maybe starting a whole new platform, it could be the platform we have. Because there's always that problem of when you start a new platform, you've got to have people who know how to run that. And I'm sure a lot of people in this group are very busy. I know some of you are teachers, but maybe.
Let me interrupt you. It's not a new platform. We've got these up and running. That new platform Marion was talking about, it has nothing to do with this. We've got these up and running now with what in the art industry business, we used to say, this is clip art. It's art we could use. It's not copyrighted. Well, they have little sayings and poems that are like clip art. And instead of using that clip art type of poetry, I want it to be your poetry. So it would be the same platforms. No,
Yeah.
I'm not going to give more work, Carol.
Okay, that's what I was thinking because
Right.
because I've been in the GPS website
Okay.
in and out, so I'm familiar with it. But I was just saying if we try to do something totally different, that if we could use the same
Right.
.org, and
We
instead
will.
of the things in there, put a poem.
Right. That's exactly. I just want to substitute what's there for our stuff. We got to be tooting our horn, not somebody's clip poems.
True.
I don't know what to call them, folks. Clip art, clip poems. What do y'all think, Elizabeth? What's your idea on that?
I think it sounds great. I would, in a practical sense, because I have a book out and I have a second one coming, I would like to get as much exposure as possible.
Exactly.
So I don't have a problem with it at all.
Thank you.
Great idea.
Yeah, me too. I think it's great, and I'm with you. That if you're going to look at something and it's going to be meaningful website, you want to look at it and see this has meat, meat on the bone. It's not just a cute saying, whimsical.
Right. Exactly.
We want to be taken seriously. So
I would also like to add that
Wait, excuse me, can I interrupt you just one moment? I just noticed that Sarita Smith, are you still on, Sarita?
She left.
I didn't see your name on earlier, and I'm sorry I did not acknowledge you.
She left already. She's out.
She left? Okay. I'm sorry, Alice, go
Yeah.
ahead.
But I would like to share that Sarita mentioned she had to leave early, but she enjoyed the meeting, and for everyone to have a good weekend, a great weekend. Okay, what I wanted to share was I had an opportunity to go to the Georgia Poetry Society.org website, and it was so welcoming. It said, "Welcome, poets. The Georgia Poetry Society is an active society dedicated to the composition and appreciation of poetry across the state of Georgia." And then, of course, the individual could join GPS or renew their membership. That's on the first cover. And that is inviting. I really like that. And I also like the idea that we can, sort of like pinpoint different artists and their works and the authors. And hey, I have a new book coming out. Be sure to read.
Exactly.
And I cannot wait to hear from Miss Elizabeth John and her new book because I have her previous one right now. So yeah, signed copy.
Yes,
Yes,
and
you do. I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot.
Yes, yes. And I was just wondering, your new book, which narrative are you selecting at this point?
I mean, they're the same thing. There's a lot of poems in there that are, Afrocentric. Centered around our history. Like the first 10 or 11 poems are about slavery and lynching and all that stuff. They're all told in
Okay.
they're all told in story form, and then after that, the next set is the sadness and the darkness that comes from losing a loved one or wanting to be with someone and you can't be with someone for whatever reason or anything along those lines. And mixed in there's a few poems about injustice around the world, like the journalist. There's a Russian journalist, Alexei Navalny, who was killed by Putin. It really bothered me. I don't even know why. It just really bothers me. I wrote a poem about that. Then the next section are my love poems. I've got to have a good love poem. I love those. So, it's always about somebody that you want or being with that person. And then the last section is just a mishmash of stuff. And it's all taken from the title, because the title, The Bones in the Garden, is the name of one of the poems in the book. And when I was trying to figure out how to lay it out, I was like, oh, I got an idea. So the chapters are divided. So the first part's called The Bones. The middle part's called In the Garden. And the last section is the other things found there. So
How many pages does this one consist of?
it's a little bit shorter, which is weird because it's
Okay.
almost the same number of poems. I was
Okay.
trying to make it so that it's about 100 pages, 110 pages, but it's going to be
Yes.
about 90 pages. It's a little bit shorter, but it's about the same number of poems. So about 55, yeah. So, and the same service put it together for me, and they are really phenomenal. So, I mean, it's costing me a pretty penny, but
But it's done correctly. That's most
yeah,
important.
That's the main
they
thing.
do an excellent job, and they upload it to the platforms, whatever, based on whatever you discuss with them. They, upload it to the platforms. I don't ever have any issues. I see people saying, KDP closed their account or shut their account down or did this to them, and I don't have any of those. Everything is uploaded as it needs to be. Everything is published well. It's been edited about a gazillion times, so there's no mistakes in my book. And if it looks like a mistake, it's me using, Ebonics, that vernacular because since my
Right.
poems tend to be stories, I tend to create characters. And so depending on the character will determine his voice or her voice or what have you. But they are a phenomenal service. It's costing me money, and I won't be able to publish anything for a while after the second one. But
I'm sorry.
they're really, really good.
Well, La Rosa knows a lot about that. Talk to us, La Rosa.
Oh,
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
oh no, I was gonna say I saw your hand up like you had a question.
Yeah, I don't have a question. I have a couple comments actually. First, I am an editor, but I'm also a publisher. I am an author as well. I have many books on Amazon. I write everything from a children's book series to nonfiction and even fiction series. I just love to write. I just love to write. So I was sitting here thinking about how we can get more exposure for the members of the Georgia Poetry Society. And I am also a producer of webcasts. I have a show called South Carolina Gets Lit in honor of my grandmother. And it is an author show where I interview authors, but it's also the name of my literacy program. The important part for Georgia Poetry Society is this. In an effort to get more recognition and bring visibility to the society, I would like to do a series on that show of the poets where you guys come on one at a time and get interviewed, talk about your book, why you wrote it, read a couple poems, and just basically toot your own horn on that particular show. The show is aired via YouTube, my website, and Facebook, but I just signed a very broad range new distribution deal. And so that is going to be changing. It's a global distribution deal. So having you guys on that particular show gives an opportunity for you guys to be seen around the world, and who knows what can come of that. If you all are interested in that, and I just wanted to throw that out to you guys.
Yeah, that sounds phenomenal.
Count me in.
Yeah, do you still have you changed from Purely Positive to this new thing since you've left Georgia?
No, ma'am. I actually have, my main company is called Purely Positive Network. And under my company, I have 4 shows and I'm adding some more. So I have South Carolina Gets Lit for authors. I have Purely Positive Show where we spotlight positive people doing positive things for a positive community. I have Positive Business where it's basically a 30-minute commercial for business owners and entrepreneurs. Then I have Art, Arts, and More Arts where we focus on people who have talent. And right now, we're actually doing a campaign to focus on people in the area where I live because I know a lot of people here and there are a lot of more mature people, not the young people trying to break into the business, but the people who feel like that time has gone and passed them by. So we're giving them an opportunity to get some visibility and some exposure.
I have a question. When do you sleep?
That's a good question, Carol. That is a very good question. And listen, now, I don't mean to be telling on you, La Rosa, but she's not the healthiest person in the world. And I admire her for how she deals with what she has to deal with and gets done what she gets done. And bless her heart, she is now trying to help me get my book out. And if that doesn't kill her, I don't know what will, you know. I'm giving
I
her
have to say I'm a little OCD, so I'm very structured. That's why I can get things done. It's quite interesting how my husband says my mind works, and I can be working on 3 or 4 different things at one time. So I guess that's a good thing about being OCD and ADHD right now. That works for me.
Excellent, excellent.
Absolutely.
And what is the
Absolutely.
name of the book that I have? Is it on MS?
Yes. You have a book on MS. It's called Bad Nerves, Living with MS, because I have multiple sclerosis. And I wrote this book, a long time ago,
Right.
maybe about 20 years ago, because I wanted to have something for people who are newly diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And so it's written in layman's terms, not all that medical jargon, but it has the accounts of 3 different people who have multiple sclerosis, and it has interviews with caregivers. It has an interview with my neurologist, who happens to be a world-renowned neurologist, Dr. Ben Thrower, the director of the MS Foundation. And it has a narrative of what a good day is like in the summer and what a bad day is like in the summer, what a good day is like in the winter and what a bad day is like in the winter, so that people who are newly diagnosed, they're lost. They have no idea what's going on because MS is so unpredictable. It gives them a glimpse into what life is like, but it explains very clearly that life is very different for everybody who has this debilitating disease.
And what I like about
Yes.
your book too is that it gives resources. And so
It
does.
can y'all already see? Let's give a hand to having La Rosa on board, everybody.
Yes.
She's going to
Oh,
be
thank you.
Yes.
asset to us.
Rosa, I've already found What Is This World Coming To?
Oh, well, yes, that's my it's a collection of short stories that I did because my kids were pestering me about publishing the book. And so I actually have that's the full collection, but I've actually
Mm.
gone back and done the individual stories as separate books. Those are available on
Oh.
Rakuten via Kobo.
Okay.
And
Okay.
don't you have access to getting books published internationally or not? What were we discussing that you were thinking about not putting my book up where most people do, but you wanted to give me international exposure? That might be something that's of interest to our poets.
It
Yeah.
is. I have a distribution platform that I use, which most people think Amazon. Most,
Right.
you know, when people think of books and publishing, they think Amazon is the place to be, but it is not.
Mm.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and there are other online retailers for books that's also available. But the important thing is to get your book in a catalog called Books in Print, which is by Baker and Taylor. So when you get your books in that catalog, then bookstores and libraries can order your book. So I choose a distribution channel for anybody that I publish that makes the book available globally. That means in other countries, New Zealand, Australia, Europe, the UK, and of course, the United States and Canada. That's available in print as well as ebook format. So I've been doing this probably since 2010, I think. So going on about 15 years, I've been doing this. And I really like the visibility that my authors get. And I like the fact that they're able to say my books are available everywhere because it also makes your books available on Apple and Amazon and Barnes and Noble and all these other retailers. So it's a win-win. It's just a win-win.
I have a question for
and
you.
be-
I have a
That's
question for
good.
you in regards to the distribution for
Mhm.
different countries. Will say for example, A Dove and the Golden Light, would it be in German or in French? Would it be in the language that it's distributed to?
Yes, ma'am, it will.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, it will.
What do y'all think, ladies?
I think it's a win-win situation.
Could you give us the, I got books in print and I heard Taylor. Could you
Mhm.
tell me the rest of that, that it
It's
is?
Baker
Baker and
Baker
Taylor.
and Taylor is the company that has books in print, and all bookstores and order from them in the United States. All bookstores order from that. Most people don't know, let me go back. Most people don't know that when you're an author and you are trying to get your book in the bookstores and you're trying to get your book in the library, you could do it the hard way and do it individually, or you could take the easy route, go through a distribution channel that uses Baker and Taylor, which has a catalog that their salespeople shop to bookstores and libraries. And that way they can order your book and you don't have to go in and have to do a consignment and all this other kind of stuff. It just makes it a whole lot easier. It's a one-stop shop. So I have a distribution channel that uses the Baker and Taylor, and so you'll get your books in their catalog, and you will have your books in libraries if they choose to purchase it, and bookstores. It's a lot easier. Have you ever wondered why a person can go to a bookstore and say, well, do you have this book, blah, 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 and then the salesperson says, well, no, we don't have that book, but we can order it for you? The reason why is because they have access to that books in print, which Baker and Taylor uses.
Now, do
So
our people go directly to them or do they go to them through you?
through me.
Okay, so y'all, they can get in contact with you. Okay, so if any of y'all want to do that,
Now, I note that you have LJ, but what do we look for? Do we look for LJ Thomas or do we look for your full name or?
okay,
I
I tell you what,
actually,
wait, let me interrupt just one moment because this is going to be on YouTube. Let's wait till we finish broadcasting and share our personal information and numbers.
Okay, good.
Okay, can y'all hang around till then?
Yeah.
Actually, I have to go, Barbara. My mom's having an event and I gotta get things rolling to get over there. So
Okay, the only person we haven't heard from, Kimberly, are you still there, my darling?
Yeah, I've been listening. It's been very interesting.
Okay, I did not print out your report, your financial report. And I don't mean to be putting you on the spot because I should have read it out, but do you have it close by that you could kind of let the friends know what's happening before Elizabeth goes real quickly?
Oh yeah. We have total assets of 23.7 thousand. I had to dip into the Vanguard to keep Marion paid, etc. But we'll get more money as coming up when people are renewing their memberships. And we have 6 new members joined since March the 30th. So we have 49 paid members.
Okay,
all right.
so we have a lot of members that are just dropped off and we want to build that up because it used to be in the hundreds. So can you see why this membership is so important? Everybody start in your own area and building up. Elizabeth, thank you for being here this morning. Have a great weekend.
Okay, great. You too. Bye.
Kimberly,
Bye.
She
Kimberly,
has a poem called The Tree that is wonderful. I hope y'all will get to hear her read that.
Barbara.
Yes.
did we
Yeah.
lose Kimberly? Did Kimberly?
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. You're the cute dog. Okay. Could you give that amount again? You said 23.7. Do you mean 23,700? I'm not a math person.
Yeah.
So $23,700,
Yeah.
almost $24,000.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Seems like we have plenty of money for funding the creation of the Reach of Song.
We do, and that money is also used to pay the contest winners. We try to build up money so that we used to hold 3, 4, 5. Carol, you remember?
Oh, you're muted.
Well, we lost you. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was saying, yes, we have money for the printing. There's no problem with that, but we also have to have money for when we used to hold about 7 contests. I think we're in the Reach of Song. We had the adult contest, we had children contest, we had chapbook contest. And so that's where a lot of our money goes in that type of a thing. And then let me share something else with you. When you become a member of the Georgia Poetry Society, Kimberly automatically sends in your name to the National Federation Society of Poetry Societies. I think there are over 30 in the United States, and that's who was attending the convention in June. And all of those states are represented in a letter called Strophes that they put out, and they give you contests from all the states that, being a member of the Georgia Poetry Society, you can enter. And that's another gift that you get by having a membership with us. Contests that you can support aren't scams. And I think that's important.
That's important. too.
Everyone.
Barbara, I,
Yes, Kit.
I am thinking that you actually have to join individual state poetry societies to be considered a member. I may be wrong, versus because you are part of national federation. I don't know that that counts for you being a member of an individual
No.
state, right?
No,
So
I
when
mean-
you enter contests,
Yes,
they will list fees for members
right.
and then non-members. It's
Correct.
typically like maybe $1 more if you're not a member.
Right. But what I was trying to say is that those contests are there from these states. And like Kit said, you pay the fees. Now you can join them
Right.
if you want to, but it's not necessary. And also, you may be asked, as I forgot who I judge a contest for, to judge, especially if you're on a board. These states may reach out to you and ask you, would you judge one of their contests? And so, it's like I said, I don't know, Kit, if you got to meet with a lot of the people. I did not, because unfortunately, my caretaker that was there to take care of me since I hadn't been out in 5 years, she got food poisoning, and I ended up having to keep running back to the room to check on her and didn't get to network with all of these people. But let me assure you that they are warm and welcoming, and if we reach out to them, they will accept us and reach out also. So do check into those opportunities.
Another question for Kimberly. So you send in our names to NFSPS National for membership.
Yeah.
What date do we need to make sure that we have either joined, renewed with GPS in order to make it for the whatever deadline it is that National has for submitting poems for contests to them?
Well, good question. I think the deadline this past year was like in March. That's when I sent in the last batch of names. I sent in the first batch of names like sometime in January, but we'll definitely advertise, these deadlines. And they're also in Strophes as well.
Do
Thank
you
you.
want to tell her about Strophes?
I Strophes is the NFP, National Federation of State Poetry Societies, quarterly newsletter. And that it's packed with information, including these deadlines and anything you may need to know.
And we can send in news to them about what's happening to us. It's very interesting. Paul Ford just resigned. We have a new president. I'm sorry, it's not on the tip of my tongue right now. Did
So it's Joe Kavanaugh.
see how wonderful it is having Kit on.
And he's great. He's actually, he's very interesting. I think he's from in Florida, and he had arranged at National to have a live via Zoom presentation by Ihor, and I can't remember or pronounce his last name. He is a Ukrainian poet, very well regarded, and Ihor presented his poems. His daughter translated into English for him. He does know some English. And he also shared a video of a little boy, just as cute as could be, learning to ride a bicycle. And that doesn't sound like, for a 3-year-old, doesn't sound like any big feat to learn to ride a tricycle, except for the fact that this little boy had lost both of his hands due to the war in Ukraine. And they had these kind of like plastic cones attached, opened at the top, attached to the handlebars of the tricycle. And he would put the stumps of his arms into those plastic cups so that he could steer the tricycle. the smile on that little guy's face, I'm getting goosebumps just remembering it. And
Hmm.
they are planning on doing they are starting a group called Poets for Peace. And they are wanting to look at creating a poetry anthology with poems about peace. They are also looking to do some fundraising to help this particular orphanage in Ukraine and Ihor explained that when money, if you send money to, I'm going to say like UNICEF, but a nonprofit organization, it takes a while for any money to get filtered down the bureaucratic path to the actual orphanage. So this money would go directly to the orphanage. So, but that's something that's going on if you have any interest in that. But it was extremely moving. And someone asked Ihor if he would consider leaving Ukraine. And he said, it's my country. He's had invitations from the UK, possibly somewhere here in the US, for him to come and flee his country. But he said he figures he will die in Ukraine, and hopefully not from the war or from someone because of his poetry. I mean, it was really sad, but again, very, very moving. And he's a wonderful person. And what NFSPS is hoping to do with Poets for Peace is, I think, a very, very appropriate action for them to take. So,
Thank you so much for
don't
sharing.
have to be for war, but I think everybody's for peace.
Mhm.
You know, it's not a for war, against war, it's for peace.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. I wasn't there that Sunday. And I hope that they will be able to show us some of these things that went on the days that some of us were not there. I'm so glad you were able to stay and see that. Kimberly, were you there on that Sunday?
Yeah, I was there for that program.
Great, great. I'm just so sorry we couldn't stay another day. Well, ladies, would you like to take a 5-minute break? We can go till 1 o'clock and we can go get our poems and we can have a little open mic. Want to take 5 minutes? I'll go get mine. I'm going to heat up my coffee.
Barbara,
Yes.
I'm going to have to go, but I enjoyed being a part of this and meeting new folks and seeing, quote, old folks. Not used that way.
Yes.
And hope to see you all perhaps in another open mic.
And
So-
you know how happy I am to have you
Kit,
today.
Kit.
Thank you, Kit.
Yes.
Kit,
Okay.
I would like to just say thank you for all the information that you've been providing
Yeah.
to this organization, and you're a jewel. Thank you.
Yes, she
and
is.
just so that everybody knows, it's hard for me to volunteer for doing things, you know, like arranging for an open mic to promote Georgia Poetry Society when I live near Asheville, North Carolina. So
We just want you to stick with us because you are such an asset with your knowledge. I mean, I can't tell you what Thursday night meant to me. It was such an educational open mic evening. So
and
thank you, Kit.
you're very welcome. And I have joined the Florida and the Minnesota poetry societies, as well as North Carolina. And for some reason, North Carolina does not belong to national. And I'm going to try to do some unantagonistic asking. Why don't we belong? Because they have over, I think, 600 members. I mean, it's
Wow.
Well,
Kit,
Kit,
you know,
they're also having meetings in person, and I think that makes a difference.
It
well,
really
Kit, this is, oh, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting. I'm in Hiawassee. I'm about 10 to 12 miles from the North Carolina
Okay.
line. And
Yeah.
so I'm highly active in North Carolina Writers Network.
Yeah.
Because if you are contiguous states like South Carolina, I'm not trying to advertise away from Georgia poetry, but it's sort of a conglomeration. And I host a group every month called Mountain Wordsmiths, and we have poets in there. And so I can't join North Carolina. I guess I could, but I'm sort of right there on the cusp between the two.
Well,
But
I think I'm glad that I went ahead and looked at joining some of these other poetry societies, because the Florida one, I met Elaine Person at National, and I've been taking a Zoom writing class with her, and she's down in Orlando. And I had met a woman who's with the Minnesota one. I joked with her, instead of told her that I had mentioned it to my husband, and he said, Minnesota. And and then I told her, I said, he's from Iowa. And she said, oh, you mean Iowa? So, the neighboring states. But I'm receiving emails from these other organizations. And I think it's another way for us to just become involved, support other poets. But then if they have open mics or they have something going on, sometimes they offer a workshop, that it's just another way of networking. And their fees are usually, I think maybe somebody was $25, somebody might have been as much as 35, but it's just, pick and choose. There are a lot to pick from. And I also had joined the California one because I lived in California for 10 years. So yeah, so just ways to reach out and connect with other poets.
we had a remarkable experience with our group that it was called Bee City Poets. And we met in Hayesville. We meet in Hayesville, North Carolina at the library there once a month. And a dear friend was in there. She was an Olympic runner, never smoked, vegetarian, developed incurable lung cancer. But she was a member of the Utah Poetry Society. And it was such a remarkable experience because she was still active with that group and did all kinds of these open air poetry hikes in the mountains of Utah, would do all sorts of things with poetry. And of course, she found out she only had about 6 months to live. And she kept in contact with them. And so at one of our meetings, she said, come to the meeting. She was the hostess at that time, the host. And she said, come to the meeting. I have a gift for everybody. And the Utah Poetry Society sent books by their members, sent a book from just about every member of the group to North Carolina to our meeting. And then in the process, we had 2 members who judged their poetry competitions for them. So it was really a remarkable collaboration there that we were able to help her because she passed away in December. But she was still so connected to that group of people, had been a member there a number of years before she moved back to her family, closer to family in North Carolina. But I just thought that was such a lovely gesture, that this is how 2 state poetry groups can reach out to each other. And because you're supporting our dear friend, we're sending you copies of our books we've had published by our different poets. And then in turn, would you please judge all our poetry contests? So we judged, 2 of our members judged one of the contests. And she actually had a contest in the Utah Poetry Society that she funded the prize for it.
Wow.
Awesome.
I wouldn't be surprised if you would hear in the future that there would be a contest named after her, because that's how so many contests get the name, is in memory of someone that is remarkable, like the lady you spoke about. So I don't be surprised if you see that happen in the future. And that's what I'm talking about when I mention a community. Can you sense the feeling of community that Carol was speaking about, instead of just members being members? I want us to reach out within our own organization, but I'm encouraging, yes, join other groups. Because they teach us. I mean, that's how we learn is by being with people that are smarter than us or have crossed the barriers that we're just wading through right now. I ask everyone at nationals, I said, I'm like a sponge. I want to just soak up any information and education that can help us to grow. And there were some that were phenomenal in the amount of members that they had. But I'm going to say about us, ladies, it's not quantity, it is quality that Georgia Poetry Society possesses. So we're going to expand, we're going to grow, and I hope next year we're going to get to that in-person meetings. And you are all, free to open up your own in-person meetings. As a matter of fact, before I had surgery last year, I encouraged people that live in the same committee get together for a cup of coffee. If you can get with anybody in the North Atlanta area or some Atlanta, if there's just two of you, to network together and have coffee together will make the bond stronger for the whole organization, because you'll bring that strength of buddying up together back to our organization. And anyway, you don't have to go through me. You don't have to go to the society. You can just say, hey, poet friend, let's go get a cup of coffee, and reach out to each other in that way. I'm going to go reach out for a glass of iced tea. Do you ladies want to stay on and read your poetry?
I will see you all later. It's been very enjoyable.
And
Thank you.
I will probably duck out too. I have really enjoyed this so much.
Well,
And,
listen now, I want to see your name, darling, on our open mic for September. And remember, it's going to be ABC Darien is going to be the poetry forum that will be the homework for September. I look
Okay.
forward to seeing you, Carol. Okay, do y'all want to read? If it's just me, you, and Alice, do we want to just go spend our day doing something else regarding poetry instead of reading? What do you girls want to do? Don't go away yet, Carol. I want to do something. What do you girls want to do?
I would like to read to practice for next week. And I would also like to hear from Miss Thomas as well.
Okay.
Miss Thomas will stay on and read one poem. She has an appointment that she has to get to, but she'll stay on and read one poem.
Okay.
Everybody.
Also, Barbara, if we could just all just do one poem, complete one poem, and call it a day.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Okay,
Yes.
I would like to do that too. I cannot get Carol's name and address. Please send it to me as the president, Carol, and I'll give you my phone number and everything too. And so
Carol,
I don't want to read it out on YouTube.
Carol, would you please put it in the chat
In
and I'll
chat.
record that? So
Okay.
we all have it. Yes, she'll put it. Barbara, I'll make sure that you get it.
Okay, La Rosa, you can go and do the chat thing too. I'm gonna go get my glass of iced tea. I'll be back in 5 minutes, ladies. It's 12:28, 12:30. We'll be back at 12:35.
Okay.
You wanted what did you need? My phone number, email, or what?
Yeah, we have your phone number and your email.
Okay. It always jumps ahead of me.
Mm.
And
La Rosa, are you placing your information in as well? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
I'm so sorry, La Rosa. I wasn't trying to have you give any personal. I just wasn't sure where to look to find your books. If it's
I
Oh.
went on Amazon where
Okay.
mine is listed. Mhm.
Okay. Here we are.
Yay. Thank you so much. Yes, I got it.
You're so welcome. I actually have a poem that's going to be in the Reach of Song. I sent in 3 poems in early 2024. And
Okay,
so
that is
Good.
wonderful.
okay. So all right.
Okay. Be sure to go out and get that book. A dove in the golden light.
I'm intrigued by the title.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful cover.
It is, it is.
Thank you.
I know that people disagree with me, but I still say that covers often sell the book. At least if nothing else, it draws people to it. And then they wanna
Exactly.
know, why did you have that cover? What's inside here?
You
So-
see, I
Right.
wear a
Yeah.
pin also that has the cover on it and my name and the title of the
Oh.
book. Yeah, it's called. And when I see friends, like I may go shopping at the mall or whatever, I have my pin on. And if I see someone I hadn't seen in 5 years, since the last time I saw you, I wrote a book, and I'll just take it off and give it to them, or say, take a picture of it so you can go order it. Something cute like that.
Wonderful.
That's great marketing. You always
Yes.
are marketing on your
That's
brand.
it.
That's great.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
the
you.
hardest part. I mean, obviously, I spent years writing my poems for this book, but it's so difficult to market, and it's a lot of work.
It is.
Yes.
I did a reading Thursday night at the John C. Campbell's Folk School, and
Yes.
that's a really big thing up here. It's a lot of the people consider it spiritual because it was founded a long time ago in the I guess during the Depression or earlier, may have been much earlier than that. And they teach all kinds of folk arts. But now thanks to our coordinator, they didn't want to do writing, but she said writing is an art, and we want writing included in this. So we have this called Literary Hour, and we have a poet and a prose writer speak. So every month. So that's a good avenue as well. I'm going to duck out. It has been lovely to meet you all, and you've got my
Yes.
information.
Definitely.
so-
Likewise.
Have a
Yes.
wonderful weekend.
Yes, you
All
as
right, you
well.
too.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Carol,
Okay.
Bye.
nice
Bye-bye.
meeting you.
Nice to see you.
Yes.
Okay, I'm back.
Yay.
Hey.
And so
All
we're gonna do just one round robin?
We'll just say, Kimberly, you've been the quietest, so we're going to start. Are you going to read a poem, Kimberly?
Sure. Da-da-da-da-da.
There you are, my girl.
Okay, we have this one that was published earlier this year. It's called At the Roller Rink Next to the Superfund Site, 1983. The disco ball cast warning lights, glowing planets crawling over the murk, a safe distance from acetone, aldrin, alpha BHC, and dieldrin. Round and round by rat plays at Rambo's Skateland as I roll solo among strangers. Chemicals washed off the 18-wheelers for years, forgotten until it reminds us. Music murmuring in my prepubescent bones on 8 wheels and wobbling circles. Trying to stay out of everyone's orbit. Hobgoblins with elbows sticking out, shoulder pads, hairspray lacquered. Tar oozes out of the ground at the apartments next door, inhabiting the periphery, cold planet far from the sun, not showing off tricks because I have none. The powers that be dumped fresh dirt and built apartments, left families with bubbling muck. A balancing act just to keep from hitting glossy timber until my legs tire and I escape orbit, like nothing ever happened, like this was fresh territory scratched out of the pines. Round and round, what comes around goes around. I'll tell you why. I navigate the sudden deceleration of rolling onto carpet, the muffled sounds of wheels, legal documents full of benzene and detached drama, geometric carpets designs, dingy, sweaty from everyone's journeys, apartment dwellers scraped away with tainted topsoil.
Wow.
That was really something.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at that and read all those words again. You were very descriptive and your
Mhm.
language was far from normal. It was educational, and it was sad too, you know?
Mhm. Yep.
It's- It
And
was,
it was about an actual place in Saraland, Alabama.
and you
Oh,
saw all that happening. Okay,
Thanks.
next I would like to have La Rosa, if you're ready, La Rosa.
I am. This poem was written in 2020 during the beginning of the pandemic. It's called Can I Wake Up in 21? Yeah, 2020 ain't been no fun. I can't even go outside for a run, much less go visit my grandsons. Can I skip 20 and wake up in 21? The world we know is upside down. People dying because they can't, because they black or brown. We can't even have fam and friends around. You know what? I throw 2020 down. By the end of this year, more people will disappear. Will there really be jobs next year? The bottom line is we all live in fear. No matter what, we just can't win. We take a breath, and to them, it's a sin. I don't necessarily want to be friends, but let me live and give me my ends. Like I said, 2020 ain't been no fun. I'm tired of fam dying by guns. It's the new lynching that they run. I'm gonna take a nap and hopefully wake up in 21.
Wow.
Mhm.
What do they did? They click, 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 click. Very
Mhm.
good. Very, very interesting.
Yes.
Okay, now we're going to hear from Miss Alice.
Okay. So I would like to share that by legality, I am a social worker. I'm a psychotherapist, crisis interventionist, and an individual that works with people on a day-to-day basis in crisis traumatic situations. And what I've done with the dove and the golden light, I have used inspiration, love, prayers, and wisdom for depression, anxiety, rejection, discrimination, and PTSD. So, bag people, BAGPEOPLE, bag people. I see you carrying that load, a bag full of lies, a bag full of shame, a bag full of hurt, a bag full of depression, a bag full of stress, a bag full of anxiety. You walk around crying inside and smiling on the outside. We hear your lies. We see your shame. We even feel your pain. You try to conceal your emotions. We see your bags. We see your bags. They are transparent. We want you to drop off each of those bags. Drop those bags. You have been repressing and suppressing your problems far too long. Bring your feelings to the surface. Lay those bags down. Clear your mind and leave those bags right here. The golden light. Cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. Psalms 55:22. So, with my poetry, I have utilized social work as well as biblical stance to overcome some of the traumatic features in individuals' lives. Thank you.
Very good, Alice. I'm going to show you what I'm going to put it up on the screen. Tell me if you can see this. It's kind of like what I would call an acrostic. It's not an ABCDarian. It was like an acrostic, and this was it placed sixth place, judged by a J. Hamilton, and it's called Coming Back Home, and in case you couldn't see, each line starts with the letter of the title of the poem. Coming back home to you, my darling. Oh, my love, I miss you so. Missing your laughter and your kisses. I'm sure all of this you know. Never again, and not one more night. Gorgeous lady, I'm on the next flight. Be back home soon in your loving embrace. Anxious to show you face to face. Conclusive proof in Bible truth seek. King paradise earth soon inherited by meek. Holy writings give us confidence on a restored paradise we'll live. Me and you forever, eternity, gift to us give. God will give. So as you can see again, the title of the poem is represented by every, whoops,
Yes,
beginning line. So,
coming back home.
yeah. Okay, we ready for a second poem read? I think we start again with you, Kimberly.
I unfortunately have to drop off. I have
Okay,
to go to a meeting. I'm sorry. I want to stay so bad, but I have some stuff to do. So I will see you all at the next meet.
okay.
My contact information, Alice has my contact information. So give me a call or drop me an email, and I will be more than happy to do whatever. Okay. I'll see you guys later. I've had a great time.
And call me
Rosa, thank you
soon.
so very much.
You're
You will be
welcome.
for me.
Oh, great. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, dear. Okay, let's do one more round. Kimberly, you ready?
No, I was only prepared for one round because I also have to go.
Okay, well then we will call it a day. I want to thank everybody that was here today. This is Barbara Barry Nishanian. I'm the president of the Georgia Poetry Society, and this has been our third quarterly meeting that we hold every quarter. And I hope that the people that will be watching this will consider joining our open mics on the third Thursday of every month. And we're going to do one ABC Darien for our homework, and then all the other poems are poems of your choice. We just want you to keep them short and to remember that any poem that you read on the Georgia Poetry Society open mics, wherever they're held, are considered as being published poems and would not be allowed in many contests because they are considered published. So keep that in mind, but we do hope you will join us. We have a membership drive and there are many rewards for your joining us, and we do hope that you will join us for our next meetings. Again, this is the Georgia Poetry Society saying thank you for joining us today. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.